Hello everyone, on this video we will cover how to execute store procedures in a database server from InduSoft Web Studio and also AVEVA Edge. To start, I want to um, introduce what is required to execute this. The first thing that we need is a database connection. I already created a database connection here pointing to a local SQL server here on my virtual machine. So that's the first thing. What we need from it is the database connection name. The next step is create a tag to receive the store procedure returning values. So I created a string tag here. I called the tag result, and it should be a string tag, sorry, an array tag, because the array will receive the values for each row in the result set. The next step is you should have a store procedure. What I'm doing is I created a query here to get the names of the tables. I can execute the same thing on InduSoft. As you can see, we have the same query here and here. So what it returns here on SQL Management Studio will be returned here for InduSoft. But first, let me introduce you to the DB execute function. This function basically emulates the SQL Server query editor. So we need to point to a database connection. We need to point also to a query, and we need to specify the tag that will receive the result set values and the rows, the number of rows that we expect to receive. So those are the parameters for DB execute. I'm executing this script through this tag go. So let's start the runtime and let's toggle the tag called go. And we get exactly the same than on SQL Server Management Studio. The next step is create a store procedure. So I already created a store procedure based on my demo query. So the store procedure is called get tables names. It's here already. So I won't create it again because it will, generate an error because it already exists. But let's say that I created it on this video. It's the same. And the next step is call the store procedure. So in SQL Management Studio, you should call it by using the keyword exec and the table name, sorry, the procedure name, the store procedure name. So if we execute this, we get the same results than in the previous query. So we can do the same on InduSoft Web Studio, so, AVEVA Edge. So here we have the execution tag called go_to, and in the SQL variable we have exec and the name of my store procedure. So here it's not important, but let me change this by the capital letter. It should be the same. We have the same DB execute function, exactly the same query here. What it's changing is only the variable, the SQL variable, the VBScript variable, sorry, called SQL, which receives the query at the end. So if we execute this, let me stop the runtime and let me save this and reset the tags database so we can have blanks here. And after executing this, with the tag go to, let's execute it. We'll get exactly the same than what we have in SQL Management Studio. So that's it. It's very, very simple. As you can see, we can have the values in tags directly as you might be working on SQL Management Studio. So I hope it's clear. If you have any question, any comment, please let me know.